Hi, this is Chad from BioBreakVNC, and we're here with Magic the Gathering. Could you tell us a little bit about your game?
You bet. Magic the Gathering Tactics. One of the things we've really liked about being at E3 is we're on this outside row and there's a steady stream of people who are just attracted by the fact that it's Magic the Gathering. Almost any geek that's walking around here today, myself included, has played Magic at some time in the past. And the best thing about Magic the Gathering Tactics is that it brings that familiar card game environment to a whole new genre. We now have 3D figures and you play on a small battlefield where all of a sudden you have additional strategies in play that we couldn't necessarily get in the traditional card game.
And could you tell us a little bit about the characters?
Right. Now, in most traditional MMOs, you go through character creation and you make a character that you follow along in third person. In Magic the Gathering Tactics, what we've done that's somewhat different than the traditional card game is you are a planeswalker. So you are the actual wizard controlling the action, and you do have a figure that goes on the playing field. And in any of these scenarios that you're going to be playing, or if you're playing against other players, if your planeswalker character dies, you're done. So it is kind of neat to have that personified on the battlefield. When you're playing the card game, you don't actually have that.
Could you tell us about the casual versus the hardcore elements of the game?
This is a really good topic because I would consider myself a casual player. I don't have that much time to play. My husband, on the other hand, is a hardcore Magic the Gathering player, loves the card set, loves this game. So the way we do this differently is Magic the Gathering Tactics has a wide number of campaigns. There are 5 released right now, and there are more in the works for the next expansion. And in the campaign mode, you go through a series of missions where you're playing against the AI. And the AI is pretty good, and it's perfect for a casual player like myself. I can start the campaign, and then I can, just put it on hold as I go to take the dog for a walk or go into work, come back home, and continue the campaign. Now, my husband has also played the campaigns, and it's a great way to test out the spell books that you put together, which is our equivalent of the deck. But for the hardcore player, you also have the PvP aspect. You can go and directly play against other players, just match up through the lobbies. So it's very, very competitive, and that's kind of cool. I like watching him test out his decks and watching him either win or lose. But myself, I do play against other players, but only people I know, so that the humiliation is somewhat lessened by the familiarity with the people who are beating me down. But it's a lot of fun.
Could you tell me the feature that you're most proud of?
That's going to be a really hard one. I think the feature that I am most proud of, being a longtime Magic the Gathering geek, is the fact that the way that the figures have been translated into this 3D environment, I think is very satisfying to me as one who hoarded my Shivan dragons when I had my red deck going, and then to see them brought to life in the game with their wings outstretched, and they're very impressive creatures. Or in my green deck, the Force of Nature, it's awesome looking, and I just love the fact that it's very, very true to the core game. So it feels right.
Could you tell us what's upcoming and any type of release schedule this year?
I can be very vague about that. As you know, we don't like to release a whole lot of stuff. What we've been doing from launch till now is a lot of support from the player base, helping us identify what the issues are, what basic things need changing. So there's been a lot of bug bashing updates going on. The game is in great shape right now, and now we're in a position to start working on the first expansion, which right now we're just calling Set 2. It'll have a much more awesome name when it's formally announced. And Mark Tuttle said yesterday on our webcast that it should be ready to go by end of summer. I hope that's true because my decks are full right now and I'm very excited about adding to the various decks that I've built.
Would you like to walk us through what we're seeing here on the screen?
Well, what we've got here at E3 is we have a couple of the starter decks that are available. Magic the Gathering Tactics is free to play, and when you sign up, you get to choose a starter deck in the color of your preference. For instance, I'm a longtime green player, so the deck that I picked was a combination green-white deck. And then you can start going through the campaign series and learn the dynamics of how the various spells and figures go together. And it's really quite interesting. The tutorial is very in-depth, so you'll have no problem catching on. Veteran Magic players will catch on instantly. But even if you've never played Magic the Gathering or Magic the Gathering at all before, you'll get the hang of it very quickly. So we're at E3, we're just giving people the opportunity to do the starter campaign series. On the computer to the right, you can see an overhead map showing you the locations of both the completed or the current quests, the ones that are locked that you don't have access to yet, the daily quests, and let me explain about the dailies too. Once you've completed a series of missions in a campaign, you get access to what are called dailies. Now this is how you can make actual gold coins in the game, which you can then use on the auction house to buy additional spells for your deck. So it's really quite cool, and there's always something to do every single day. Once every 24 hours, you can play the dailies.
Could you tell us a little bit about the auction and if there's any type of crafting?
Now, as a casual player, I have to say I'm fairly hardcore when it comes to the auction because I'm always looking for the good deal. I've identified already what sorts of decks I'm building, and oh, one thing I want to mention, this is how it ties into the auction house, is I love green, as I mentioned before. So I started out, I built a green deck, I was really proud of it, and then I was going through the campaigns and realized, wait a minute, I can't complete this particular mission with green because I'm playing against a black spellbook that has protection from green. Now what? I was actually initially really mad because I go, I want to play green. Why can't I play my green? So instead I went, fine, went back into my collection of spells and fine, okay, I'm going to build a blue and white deck. And I ended up building a spell book that I call my Flying Chicken deck. And it's all blue and white, lots of flyers. These are colors that I never play when I'm playing the card game. But I put it together and beat that mission handily and had so much fun with it. Then I decided that that's it. I've got to make a spell book in every color combination possible because I realized how easy it was and how very fun it was and how easy it was to test out these spell books too. So I go to the auction house because I had the Spinning Sphinx is a really nice blue card. It's a flyer. It's really, okay, it's really cool looking, all right? And I like that sort of thing. These guys really know how to get me to spend my money. But I only had 2 of them, and I wanted to build a deck around 4. So I went to the auction house, and I'm looking at the prices, and they're 40 gold, 45 gold, 60 gold, 80 gold, and I'm going, I played the dailies for several days, got up enough gold, and then I bought a little bit of extra gold. My husband isn't listening to this, I'm sure. Bought a little extra gold from the shop as well, and then went in and I started playing the auction house, just watching it regularly. And one day, one magical day, I found 2 of those Spinning Sphinxes for 20 gold each. Ah! So yeah, okay, that's a minor win, but it just gives an example of the other aspect of this game that I quite enjoy. There's a lot of buying and selling going on.
Awesome. Is there anything that you would like to tell the established card game fan base?
The fact that it's free to play. If you guys have played Magic the Gathering Tactics and you're looking for just a new arena where you can test yourself against other opponents, in a Magic the Gathering game where you have the added dimension of 3D models as well as the playing field strategy, the positioning's very important. Try it. It's free to play. It's not going to cost you a cent to go in there with the starter decks, but I will guarantee you, once you've gone through a few campaigns with the starter decks, you're going to be thinking to yourself, I could make this deck a whole lot better. And then you're hooked. Then you can come play against me. I will let you beat me into the dirt, no problem. It's just a lot of fun. So it's a great evolution to the Magic franchise.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and coming out and showing us Magic the Gathering.
It's a great game. I'm really happy to share it with all you guys.
Take care.
Thanks.